6:29, it'll be 6:30 in about just a breath or two away, so we'll go ahead and open. I'd like to, Jeremy, would you like to lead the invocation today?
Yeah, let's do that. If you don't mind, please join me. Stand. We're going to have a moment of silence first, and we're going to remember our veterans. We just had Veterans Day on Monday, so let's take a moment and honor our veterans and our amazing community. Thank you. With that, we're going to open up in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for once again an amazing day in Canyon Lake. We are so grateful, Lord, to be part of this community, and I just ask that you continue to be with us, Lord, and make Canyon Lake just a better place day in and day out, and help us make good decisions, Lord, for our community. And in your name, amen.
All right. Director Burke, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Pleasure. Join me, of your heart. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right then. I'd like to have the clerk go ahead and do roll call.
Councilmember Castillo? Here. Councilmember Dane? Here. Councilmember Smith?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Terry?
Here.
Mayor Welty?
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Can we get a closed session report from our attorney, city attorney?
Absolutely, Mayor. Good evening. There's no reportable action out of closed session today.
Okay, we're going to go into some ceremonial matters. We always like some of the great citizens of Canyon Lake to be honored, so this is our opportunity to point them out and all the work they've done. So we're going to start out with Citizen of the Month, and our November Citizen of the Month is Valerie Montgomery. Valerie's been a resident of Canyon Lake since 2004, a dedicated member of the Women's Golf Club for 2 decades. She has served on the board in multiple roles, including as a past president and as the club's representative of the Green Committee. Valerie became chair of the Green Committee in 2013 and served that capacity for 10 years. It's like having a job on the side that you're volunteered to do. So, she was also instrumental in launching the non-resident annual golf membership program, which remains active today. Additionally, Valerie served as day trip chair for the Canyon Lake Travel Club for 3 years, organizing a variety of outings for our members. Valerie met her husband Travis while working at the American Cancer Society. She has volunteered for Project Hope, knitting over 100 scarves for troops, and partnered with Sleep Train to support foster children. So Valerie, we would like you to kind of come on up and let's. So one of the great things that the golf community does is they support our summer kids program, and it's an amazing thing. And junior golf camp, and nothing was like driving down the street in summer and seeing 100, 120 kids lined up there and hitting the ball, 200 kids, and trying to hit the ball. So out of that, we've got some pretty good golfers. So personally, it's a warm fuzzy for me every time I think about the work the golf community is doing. So. Come on up. 1, 2, 3. Good. Anything you want to say tonight?
Most of you here tonight have probably been volunteers. And if those of you have never been a volunteer, it's very, very rewarding. I've come to love the golf course, and the Green Committee does a lot of good things for the golf course. And this community is just wonderful. And I'm so glad we live here, and volunteering is very, very rewarding. And thank you very much.
Let's bring your council up and get a picture. Travis, you can take a picture, and then I'd like you to slide in to be one of the pictures. So, Valerie, if you want to come over, this is our background. We like to bring something. The family coming in we'd like to see that happen. So you can get next to your wife.
Yeah.
Please.
Come on, in.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your kind and donation.
Sorry. Congratulations.
Next, we're going to move on to Student of the Month, and this month I was honored to actually attend the Student of the Month Awards at Lake Elsinore School District's meeting, and it was a rough day for me because it was just wonderful to see the success of our children of our community. So here we go.
Our Student of the Month this month is Keely Keely Stoltenberg. Please come up. Congratulations. And you're a student at Keith McCarthy Academy. And I know your grandmother. So on behalf of the City of Canyon Lake, congratulations. And we're hoping you can tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're planning on doing.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I am Keely Stoltenberg, and I'm a junior early grad at Keith McCarthy Academy. For those of you who may be unfamiliar, it is a hybrid independent study school where I have the opportunity to go to classes in person at our campus and at home on Zoom if I prefer to do that. Here, I've been given the opportunity to graduate a full year early, and as you can tell, I'm a very academically motivated person. It's pretty obvious, I think. And after I graduate, I plan to attend Pepperdine University, and I plan to pursue a double major in both psychology and law. And that's pretty much all about me.
Well, as Mayor Welty said, he represented us at the presentation last month. I was very sad that I couldn't go, because that's always my favorite thing. But congratulations, and we've got a little gift for you, and we'll take some pictures.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. I have a lot for McKinney Lake, but when you're done, come back. That work together.
Absolutely. She's recruiting. I love it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, look at me. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And want your mom to come up? We want mom coming.
Yes, of course.
Congratulations, Mom. 1, 2, 3.
You may wonder why I was taking pictures. Keely and Valerie are next door neighbors.
Oh my God, that's nice.
That's wonderful.
Kind of a power street right there. So one thing, Keely, is we always, as you go on your journey, we always want to invite you to come back and bring back, and bring back to the community what you've gone to learn. So we'll go with that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Shuffle some papers around. We're now going to move on to community reports. Elsinore Valley Municipal Water District update, Director Darcy Burke.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff, residents, neighbors. Just a couple of things. I actually got to attend the Student of the Month this time for the first time ever, because usually our board goes and we try to be careful about quorum, and the mayor did a very nice job. And I think it was only rough for him because it was a little sentimental. So I just want to acknowledge you did a good job. Congratulations, Kaylee, you did amazing. I think Councilman Castillo just offered you a job. I think this is your last meeting, Councilman Dane, or close to it. So I just wanted to thank you and congratulate you on all the great efforts and work that you accomplished while you were serving us. And it's not easy to give up your family and your life to sit there, I know, and read the packets and be available. So thank you. I truly mean it. It's been a pleasure to work with you, and we're going to miss you. So enjoy your retirement, I guess, from public service, at least temporarily, right? Till we find something else for you to do. For our board, we had one open seat. As you remember, Jack Ferguson had resigned from our board prior to the election season starting. And so it appears that Matthew Dobler will be filling that vacancy and will be seated in the beginning of December. So looking forward to that. Water is a big learning curve, so hopefully he's up to the task. So we're excited about that. We have on our agenda for tomorrow night our capacity fee increase for consideration. So if you recall, it's about a 48% increase. So if you wanted to pull a meter on an empty lot here in Canyon Lake after December, and you wanted meter and sewer service, which you pretty much do, you're looking at about $40,000 just for the meter. That's not service, that's just the meter. And I have been very vocal in my opposition to those fees and really challenging staff to come up with alternatives, and I'm struggling. So we'll see what happens tomorrow night. I've made my case. It's all I can do. You know, people ask me, should we come and, you know, bang on the door? And I don't believe that that's the best way to make good decisions. The board has to make their decisions however they think is the right thing. I think the part that's challenging for me is I know there's other ways to do it. Just because that's how they've always done it is not how I've always done it, because I've had the opportunity to work other places and see so many other water districts and wastewater districts. So I'm hoping that this spurred conversation, and I was really hoping we could wait till our 5th board member was at least sat. And so we'll see what happens, right? Sometimes you just kind of have to give it up to God and let it see how he rolls the dice. I also want to talk a little bit about the fish kill this weekend, because I saw on social media some posts about all of you not responding to the fish kill. Let me be very clear. This is not your job. And as the landlord of the lake, it's not really our job either. So although we sent staff to help clean up the fish, because there was just no physical way operations staff at the BOA could physically get them and remove them. The challenge really comes, and I have to give kudos to, I don't know where the POA took them, because most landfills won't take them. And because you don't know what the fish actually died of, although we could pretty much guarantee that they died of reduced amount of oxygen. I can't prove that without a toxicology report. So hopefully they had an arrangement, and it's Mother Nature. Lakes turn, ponds turn. So if you had the pleasure of driving by Summerlee Golf Course in the last few weeks, you might have smelled something that was not pleasant. And that is from ponds that have been sitting stagnant for months that now needed to be pumped out into the wetlands. So really, I just can't think of a more gross source of water moving around. And once that starts moving around, you have odor. And you kind of either have to let it go, and because it's going into a wetlands, you cannot put chemical applications to reduce the odor without a permit from Fish and Wildlife. I'm going to let you pause there for a minute. Do you know how long it takes to get a permit from Fish and Wildlife? I gave birth to a whole person in less time. So when you're trying to do an emergency declaration and get something to happen, it's very challenging. So I really appreciate our residents understanding that this is Mother Nature at work. There's not a lot anybody can do about it. I have not yet found a way to control Mother Nature. I'm grateful that our lake turns. I'm grateful that we have access to the lake, because that movement in the lake keeps it from being worse than it could be. Because if you don't believe me, you can drive to Summerlee and enjoy that for just a bit and see what it could be like if we didn't have movement in our lake. So I think that's pretty much all I have, unless you have any questions.
Yeah, I just have a question/comment. This fee increase in the meter, we'd like to be able to put that a little sign, if possible, at the building department saying, you know, if you're going for a permit, you might want to try to pay for your meter ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
So if we could communicate with the city and see if we can get notification. I always like the sign at the building department. When those people are pulling permits, they look up and say, wow, I'm going to pull a permit next month. I might as well get my meter paid for today and save a huge amount of money.
Huge amount of money. So one of the things is we had discussed, and we have options about phasing. Not going to ever be phased enough for my palate, but okay. It beats sticker shock all at once. So depending on the phasing depends on when I would have to tell you to pull your meter. So I can definitely, after what happens tomorrow night, let Aaron know what that decision was like, and then we can work accordingly to what notification the building department, when people come to seek a permit, might want to know. I mean, I'm fortunate in a lot of ways, because really this area for Canyon Lake is mostly developed, right? But Canyon Hills is not. There's areas of Tuscany Hills that is also not. So the 74 area is not. You know, we're putting that big sewer main in with ARPA money as a request of 2 supervisors, and that's great. But if you want to hook up to that sewer, it's going to be a significant investment. And I don't want to be the reason economic development stops in this region. When you can go build in Menifee because Eastern has the infrastructure already and it's so much cheaper, there's got to be a better way. I just don't take no for an answer. So it's been a long 6 months, so we'll see. Hopefully they have been, our board members have been exposed to other options that they see other people doing, and maybe don't have to just say that this is the only way. And right now, that's all I've got, so. But I appreciate the support.
Any other questions?
Just a comment, thank you for hard work.
Thank you.
Because it's hard to be the voice of reason sometimes, but it's also important that people have, you know, both sides of the information available to them.
Thank you. I know when I come home that it's okay, just, I'm just not very popular at the dais over there sometimes, so that's okay too. You didn't vote for me to be popular.
It's a good place to be.
Put me to get the job done, so that's what I'm trying to do. So thank you very much, I appreciate your support.
Thank you, Darcy.
Thank you, Darcy. Okay, next community report, Canyon Lake Properties Owners Association. Jeff Bill, are you coming up to do the notice?
Filling in for Mr. Van Lee.
You're filling in, you're doing a great job.
Yeah, so far.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
had to
happy
go there,
birthday.
Well, just in following up with what Darcy said, well, first of all, thank you for having me. Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Council and staff. And I just wanted to, I was hoping everybody enjoyed our fish tacos yesterday at the lodge. They were on special. We were on them. There's probably more next week if you want them. No, first, I'd like to thank the city for putting on such a great Veterans Day. That was really nice. It was well done and very much appreciated. The flyover was great, the music was great, and the company was great. So thank you for that. I have a few highlights from our November 5th board meeting that I'd like to share. Our new patrol manager, he's been working hard at addressing a lot of the concerns in the community. So now we have community patrol. They follow the school buses in the morning to make sure that people are stopping as they are supposed to. And we've been very fortunate. We only had 4 citations last month, so people are getting the message. We do prioritize with the younger students on the bus. So if we have a bus where you don't see a community patrol, he's with the younger kids. We currently have 719 e-bikes registered with the POA. That makes those riders eligible for our rewards program. So those that aren't registered, get registered, get rewarded. Those that are not, maybe get penalized. You know, we look at that. We also have over 100 homes registered with our camera program. That's been very helpful in following vandals, stolen items, different things like that. People hot rodding around the street, as we all have seen lately. So recently the board's been working on developing a community needs assessment to prioritize various projects in the community. We expect this survey to go out in the first quarter of 2025. This survey is not a wish list, it's actually to look at what is it that we need to do to improve, whether it's in our operations, our POA staff, or us on the board. So as we move into the holidays, I'd like to share some of our upcoming events. We'd like to invite everyone to join us on December 1st, starting at 4 p.m. at the Holiday Bay Room. It's for our 42nd annual tree lighting ceremony. There will be entertainment, Ferris wheel, live DJ, activities and vendors, everything for the whole family. December 8th at 5 p.m., join us for the 14th annual Toy Drive and Christmas Parade on Sunday, starting at Eastport Park. This unique holiday event exhibits all the wonderful decked out golf carts that you can imagine. They're really pretty neat. Anyone's listening that hasn't been there, you need to hook up with someone and go watch it. The 42nd Parade of Lights returns on Saturday, December 14th, starting at dusk. This is the Canyon Lake Boat Parade, sponsored by the Canyon Lake Yacht Club. And the boats, if you haven't seen them, it's great. We've got a fire-breathing dragon, all kinds of good stuff. So that's really about all I have, unless you have any questions. I'm not taking any questions on the fish tacos, by the way.
Okay. Any questions?
Great job, thanks, guys.
Thanks. We have a question? You're not escaping.
Uh-oh, now I'm in trouble.
Have there been a lot of the reward cards given out for the e-bikes?
I don't have that number, but we have given out a couple $100 worth.
Okay.
So, and they're $10 per reward, so I'm not exactly sure. But somewhere around a couple $100.
But we're giving some out.
We're giving them out.
Okay, that's encouraging.
Kids are doing what they're supposed to. It's going very well.
Good. Thank you.
Good, thanks.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. Okay, next up on our community reports, Canyon Lake Chamber of Commerce, Board President John Grande.
Happy birthday, Joy! Happy birthday! Thank you. Guys are a day late, but never a dollar short, right? So, but thank you. Very kind. Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, city staff, everybody else. As always, I am absolutely honored to be here in front of you all. So we had our annual Parade of Frights event last month on the 26th. Although I did my best to keep a really good poker face, I was really nervous about the turnout, only because this was the first year we did it without the aid of the Friday Flyer promoting the event. You know, traditionally you'd always write a big full-page article and people would read it and show up. And I was a little nervous, but thanks to Canyon Lake Insider and Donna Ritchie, social media, word of mouth, our own promotions, we had a very good turnout. It's never really easy to count how many people were there, but I do know, for example, one of our participants, PNC Bank, were giving out pencils and candy, and they gave out 300. They ran out of all their pencils, and they had 300 pencils. And I do know that not all the kids collect maps and you know, the treasure maps that we hand out, and people leave early and all that kind of stuff. So including parents, I'm thinking we probably had about 500 people. So we worked really hard. It was an exhausting day, but you know, like someone had mentioned earlier, volunteering is very rewarding. So we're just thrilled that at least Parade of Frights made it again for another year, because I felt like it was under my watch, and if it didn't succeed, I'd have the world of the weight in Canyon Lake on my shoulders, not to mention the critics on social media. So our most recent business roundtable event was last week, last Thursday. We had a great event. One of our board members, Erin Adams of Queen of Fun Travel, gave a very good presentation on the importance of travel insurance, things that most of us didn't even think about, or at least I didn't. Very rewarding. Our next business roundtable event will be in the morning of December 5th. It's always usually the first Thursday of the month, and that's of course in the Magnolia Room downstairs and at the Country Club, 7:15 a.m. We always promise to have everyone out by 8:30. We're pretty good about doing that. And finally, I am thrilled to announce our November business of the month, Dirty Blondes. They're not only a thriving business here in the community. I was just in there today. They have something like 17 hairdressers who work there. I mean, they're huge, right? They do, so really bringing a lot here and servicing our community well, but they're also a great chamber member. They sponsor us, they support us, so we're thrilled that we're able to honor them this month. That's everything. Any questions? All right. By the way, Council Member Smith, I love the fact that you got the memo. Pink shirt, blue blazer. So right on. All right, thanks.
Yeah, John. Okay, thank you, John.
You're welcome.
I was wearing red tires. I don't see. Oh, we do have the representative. Oh, there you are. Lake Elsinore Unified School District. I have written down Jeanette Vanderpool. I'm thinking that's not working today.
I am stepping in for Jeanette this evening. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members, and City staff. My name is Jim Ujevich. I'm the Assistant Superintendent for Facilities and Operations for Lake Elsinore Unified School District. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. On behalf of the school district, as we all know, it's November. It's time to give thanks and thank them all the great things that we're thankful here for, and that's what I'm here to do this evening. First, thank you to the council members who have been coming to our Student of the Month program. Yes, I echo that it is one of really the highlights of the month. And Kaylee, who was just honored last month, I had the pleasure to be there this month as well. And we encourage you to keep attending. You will find out some fantastic things about all kinds of great students. And we seem to always have a student from Canyon Lake who is being honored at that event. So that's one thing we want to make sure we're thankful for. Thankful to Councilmember Dane for her participation in our collaborative 2x2, as we like to call them, meetings with the school districts. It's a good time to sit down to look at some things that maybe we can get ahead of, or some information, or things that we want to make sure that we're collaborating with as we go forward with the school district. We find those very valuable meetings, and we look to continue it. But thank you for your participation in those. And of course, if you've been following the news, it does look like Measure T will pass. We are likely to pass at this point And we are very, very grateful for that in the community, especially to the citizens of Canyon Lake who supported it. Without their support, we simply would not have been able to pass, or likely to pass, the measure at this time. Councilmember Smith, Director Burke, able to help us out in ways that get that message out there. With these funds, this will be a tremendous change for our district over the next 10 to 15 years. $198 million in state in bond money, but with the passage, or likely passage also, of Proposition 2, we will be able to realize somewhere between $100 to $120, $125 million in matching funds from the state of California, and that's everybody paying into that fund from California that we will now get to realize within our school district. And also, when we bring improvements to the school district, we bring them for all students, but we're very happy that we'll be able to start looking at projects that will benefit Canyon Lake residents greatly, including the new elementary school coming in the next couple of years. That is a 3 to 5 year process or so to go through those approvals and to gather the money from Measure T and other sources. But we are, again, just very, very grateful for the opportunity to do that and to make these things happen for all of our kids. So thank you. And any questions I can answer on behalf of the school district this evening?
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we'll go to public safety updates. City of Canyon Lake Code Enforcement, Ruby Manzana.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, and staff. I'll be covering the month of October. So we had 3 unpermitted building construction sites, 16 MPDS violations, 4 unauthorized vehicles on BLM, 4 verbal warnings were issued, 1 unpermitted overnight parking in the town center, NOV was issued, 3 unpermitted signs in the town center, 3 administrative nuisances, and 0 short-term rentals. Our residential rental registrations, we have 359 registered properties, 344 have renewed, 18 are pending renewal, 2 new unregistered properties were found, 6 inspections were conducted, 15 self-certifications were completed. And then down to our business license, we had 1 new commercial business registration, 1 new home occupation, 12 new out of city, and 1 renewal. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Do we have any questions?
No questions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruby. Appreciate it.
Okay, I don't, Riverside County, do we have a rep? No, okay. Move on to the City of Canyon Lake Fire Department, Chief Latendresse.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, city staff, Jeff Latendresse, your fire chief, and I'm here to present our monthly statistics for the month of October. So during the month of October, we responded to 83 emergency responses. Of those 83 responses, there were 2 fires, 56 medical aids, 1 hazardous condition, 3 service calls, 16 good intent, 5 false alarms, for the total of 83 for the month. Our 2 fire responses, our first one was on October 29th. It was in the area of Railroad Canyon Road and Canyon Lake Drive South. It turned out to be less than about an acre of brush. Working that fire, we were not able to determine the cause of it. The second fire was on October 31st, another vegetation fire. This was in the 2,600 block of Telford in Meadowbrook. Our engine 1 was the first on scene, and they found approximately 2 acres of brush on fire. Ironically, Halloween night, obviously, they were out there for about 2 hours working that fire. We didn't have any additional responses during that time, but we know that we had both Station 94 and Station 5 that were available to cover us if there was another response while we were committed on their incident. The time of day, this one kind of goes back more towards our traditional, where the early morning hours we're not as busy. We did peak about 7 o'clock in the morning during the month and have 8 responses. It dropped off then, and then around noon we started seeing our increase, dropped off in the early afternoon, and then spiked back up in the early evening. We use this information to plan our activities for the day and try to do activities that will delay our responses during our less busier times. Most of our responses have always been in our residential properties, but I do like to note out here, we're now into our 10th month, and every month there has been at least one walk-in or medical aid at the fire station. So while we try to communicate that message, we want to emphasize, please call 911. I actually had a resident call me this month on my cell phone and said that they had an issue and they requested help. And you know, I'm not always answering my cell phone. I could be in a meeting, and so I just really overemphasize the need to use 911. It's there for you, and it's actually the fastest way to ensure that response will get to you. This is a location where all of our responses, our 80 responses, occurred in the city. It was pretty common throughout the community. There was no one area that was busier than the other. Our response times improved from last month, so our turnout time on average was 1 minute. Our travel time was 5 minutes 15 seconds, a drop of about 4 seconds. And then our overall response time on average was 6 minutes and 15 seconds. What's important to us is not what we're doing 50% of the time or our average, but what we're doing 90% of the time. So 90% of the time we're getting out of the station from the time the tones activate till we're en route in 1 minute 38 seconds. Our travel time is 7 minutes and 40 seconds for an overall response time of 8 minutes and 42 seconds. And if you look at the previous month, we improved on all of those for the month of October. Mutual aid given during the month of October, we responded to 9 incidents outside the city. Again, this is the zip code for these as they come into our CAD or our computer-aided dispatch. And so there were 9 in Lake Elsinore, 0 in Good Hope, and 0 in Menifee. So thus far this year, we've responded to 122 incidents outside the city, 98 of them in the Lake Elsinore zip code, 8 in Good Hope, and 16 in Menifee. As we dial in a little bit more and we look at the map, we can see that of those 9 incidents we responded to, the reality of it is that there are only 2 in Lake Elsinore proper. 7 of them were actually in the Meadowbrook area. And overall this year, you can see the locations of all our responses, the 122 that we responded outside our city so far in 2024. On the other hand, CAL FIRE responded into Canyon Lake to assist us with responses 4 times this month, for a total of 72 times this year. As we look at where their calls were, again, all over the place, but the red heat map there shows you an area where we have most of our calls. We started looking into that. That's Railroad Canyon Road in the area of both of our traffic lights on Railroad Canyon Road, where we get more intersections. A lot of times a traffic accident is going to be a 2-engine response, so they come in here a lot and assist us on those 2-engine responses. Why would they come in? Well, we could be committed on a call. We could have a medical aid that is a critical call, a cardiac arrest where we get 2 engines, or a structure fire. One thing I'd like to highlight a little bit, we do follow social media, and there's been talk that, sometimes we might be delayed in our responses. A lot of calls that we get, 911 calls, are not true life or death emergencies. They are emergencies that require the patient to get to the hospital as quickly as possible, but it's not a minute or 2 that's going to make the difference between life and death. When it is a critical call, the call is triaged. We do what we call emergency medical dispatching. Dispatchers ask certain questions, and based on the severity of the call, they'll send 2 engines. There are no delays. So if station 94 is closer, station 5 is closer, they are dispatched simultaneously with us. So I just wanted to clarify that misunderstanding, I think, that sometimes gets talked about out there. Our training hours for the month of October, we had 317 hours overall this year. We've participated in over 2,500 hours of training. This month we focused on mass casualty training. We received from our ARPA funding new mass casualty kits, so we worked on that. We did emergency vehicle operations training, and I'll get into that in a minute. We did pump theory and hydraulics. We did a lot of driver operator training, rope rescue training, and as you all remember, our new battalion chief started October 1st, so we did a lot of training and orientation with our new battalion chief, Jeff Roberts. So I mentioned emergency vehicle operator course. Canyon Lake Fire hosted a training session that was coordinated with the Calamasa Fire Department and the Placentia Fire Department. It was a 16-hour, 2-day course. We did the training at both Holiday Harbor and Eastport parking lots, and at the reception room there at Eastport. All of our students received a state certification for completion. All Canyon Lake firefighters, every one of us went through the 16 hours of training. 6 Calamasa firefighters completed it, and 17 firefighters from Placentia completed it. So it was a big operation. We appreciate the support of the POA in making sure that we had a facility so that we can go out there and drive the fire engines and back them up and become familiar with how they operate during emergency conditions. Public education, it's the busy time of the year. So we participated in, obviously, the mayor stated the city, which was an amazing event, the Canyon Lake Car Club Car Show, the city's golf tournament. Unfortunately, the team came in last place, I might add, but we were there in spirit. Little League opening day, Rocktoberfest, the kids fishing derby, the city's pumpkin bash, the Halloween trick or treat at the town center with the Chamber of Commerce. We had our badge pinning for Chief Roberts, and then of course it was Fire Prevention Week. So we were out at the school, at the church, and at the library, interacting with our young citizens of the community, giving them tours of the fire engine, reading them stories and reading them books, and it was a great experience, I think, for everybody. And so that's our presentation for the month of October, and I'm available for any questions if you have any.
Any questions?
I have a question. How was it that when you did the emergency operator course that you had other agencies come? Did you invite them or did they reach out to us? How did that work out?
So it's an expensive venture, and so we knew it was going to be an expensive venture, and so we needed to bring in outside instructors. And so to share that cost, we invited those other agencies to come down and split the cost with us. So there's obviously a per student cost, and then for the instructor, and so that's where it came from. I also meet with those other fire chiefs on about a bi-monthly basis, and we talk about doing joint savings, so there's some economies of scale that we're experiencing by doing this kind of training. We'll be doing an engineer testing process here soon, and they will be participating in that as a proctor, and we reciprocate and do the same for their agency.
That's really cool. Thank you.
Chief, to further that question, do you think it'll grow? Do you think, Morongo has interest, or Idlewild, or any of the other entities?
We've had conversations with them. It's on our training calendar to do an annual live burn at a facility that can do live burning. And again, we bring in the outside instructor, so there's a cost savings by sharing those costs with other agencies.
Cool. Awesome job.
Mayor, can I ask a question of the chief? I want to
Absolutely.
make sure in the very beginning, I understood. Somebody called your cell phone instead of calling 911 in an emergency.
That is correct.
I did hear that correctly. So if I could say as loudly as I can,
Almost as loudly.
in an emergency, call 911, do not call the fire chief. I just wanted to make sure I heard that right.
Or go to the firehouse.
Or go to the firehouse,
Firehouse
exactly.
anymore.
Again, we could be on a call, we could be committed, we may not be able to answer our phones. 911, it's a good process. You may feel it's delayed because you start at the police department or the sheriff's department or highway patrol. They'll ask you a couple questions and then transfer you over to Paris, which is CAL FIRE's dispatch center, and they'll start treating you through emergency medical dispatch right on the telephone.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to the more core of the meeting, we're going to ask City Clerk, do we have any public comments on non-agenda items?
Mayor, we do not.
Are there any public comments on consent calendar items?
Mayor, we have none.
Okay, we're going to move on to committee and council reports. Anyone like to start? All right, I guess we're going to go to Jen because
We've had a lot of events over the last month or so. This gets into our very busy time, and I've been privileged to participate in many of them. Thank you to everybody who came to our Pumpkin Bash, our first annual, something that we've talked about for 3 years that came to fruition. So thank you very much to the city staff for making that happen. It was a really fun event, and I've heard a lot of really good things about it. Appreciate the mayor sitting in for me for Student of the Month. I don't like to give that up, but I had to this time, and I'll be at the December one. I was able to participate in the Michelle's Place Walk of Hope that our incoming council member helped put together. It was a really great event in Temecula, and so many people there. It was a really, really cool event to be there. And got to do some judging over the last month, which is always fun. I helped judge at the car show and the Parade of Frights. And that's about it. That's all I've got to say.
Okay. Okay, let's move this way. We'll go to Council Member Terry. We're going to go to Council Member Terry.
You said you. You want me to slide in?
I got a couple things. You know, Darcy kind of hit on it with capacity fees. And when they build a new residential development, and I've asked her this question in the past, does this actually affect developers willing to build? And I believe your answer was, it does, but they still do, because you're going to pay for it. It's going to be the end user who ends up having to pay that fee. And eventually, things similar to this, I mean, for example, last week, are you guys familiar with an organization called CARB? California Air Resources Board. 12-member committee. You didn't vote for any of them. Gavin Newsom appointed all of them. And beginning in 2025, you'll be paying about 65 cents extra per gallon of gas. Initially, they told us it was going to be 47 cents, and they did a study and found out that their estimating abilities are not to be trusted. So it's 65 cents per gallon in 2025, 85 cents per gallon in 2030, and almost $1.50 a gallon by 2035. I have a business, lots of people have businesses. I'm in construction. We have several trucks, 65 cents a gallon, and I'm filling up 5 trucks. It has an effect. Imagine the guy who's independently contracting, and I have jobs that are in Reseda, I have jobs that are in Ventura. That's a lot of gas. They do not care about you. They do not care about you. They've come to WRCOG in the past, discussed how by 2030 they would like us all to be driving electric vehicles, both personal as well as commercial. And you start to ask them questions like, well, do we have the infrastructure? Can our grid sustain such a change? We're working on it. Once again, they don't care about you. You want to get an electric vehicle, let's say this was to come into effect and you're a construction worker and you need a truck and you got to buy that, what's it called, the Ford Lightning? It's a $62,000 purchase, and I think I'm being very, very conservative when I say that, compared to the F-150 for about $32,000. When we talk about people suffering, this is the reason why. Does that make sense? Because it all trickles down. That guy, the business, who's now having to pay extra in gas, who's he going to pass that on to? The consumer. The person that wants to build a home, renovate a building. Mr. Loeb knows all about this. And the reason I bring this up is in Canyon Lake, it's real easy to sit here and say, we've got it great. We don't see people in need. But believe me, there are people within our region who are struggling. And I will segue that, and I'm not trying to make light of it. Last year, we saw the effects of our economy in the number of turkeys that we got in our turkey drive. We got 16. I think it's the lowest number we have ever received. This year, the City of Canyon Lake is going to be partnering with Hope Emergency Food Assistance, and they provide that assistance to Lake Elsinore, Canyon Lake, Wildemar. Believe it or not, there are people in Canyon Lake who need their assistance. And most importantly, they service all of the families in the Lake Elsinore Unified School District. I'm hoping we can get more than 16 turkeys this year. I'm hoping we can all give a little, and I bought one for our promotion, 12.5 pounds, 38 bucks. It's all getting passed down. It's going to be on November 21st from 2 to 4 p.m. It's going to be right here in our parking lot. And if you find it on a Thanksgiving table, go ahead and bring it. Doesn't have to be a turkey, it could be a canned good. But I'm really hoping we're going to be throwing a couple promos out there that we shot the other day. And I'm really, really hoping that we as a community can come together and help those who are struggling. It's a big day, unless you can't afford that big day, right? Lastly, and try to end on a positive note, my good friend Darcy Burke and I have been discussing coffee. We still call it Coffee with the Mayor? Yeah. Is that correct? So we have Coffee at the Country Club. And this is typically the first week of each month prior to the City Council. And typically in the past, it has been, you've had the opportunity to come speak to a mayor, you've had the opportunity to maybe speak with Darcy, one of the council members, but we're going to step it up a little bit this year. And what we're trying to do is give our community the opportunity to speak to the leadership throughout our region. And I don't know if it's for sure, but there's a very good possibility our first one will be Senator Kelly Cierto in January.
No, February.
February. And we also have staff from MSJC.
The president.
The president. And you can see how informed I am of our guest list and when they're coming. And we'll also be having Karen Spiegel. I spoke to her and she is more than willing to try to book a date. And this is going to give you the opportunity to speak to people who we thought maybe unless we had this event, you may not have the opportunity to meet them and ask them questions. And we do have great leadership throughout our region. And thank you for your time. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the date on the turkey run, and I looked up the date. The first Monday in January is going to be January 1st. I'm not exactly sure we're going to
do it.
You can do January 1st? So that, hence why we're, February, the first week in February is the meeting, first meeting of the year.
Special dates in February for Kelly, so.
Okay, all right, just to be on. Okay, Councilmember Smith.
All right, good job, Mayor Pro Tem. That was a really good update. A lot of things going on. Regionally speaking, as most of you know, I have had the opportunity this year to serve as the chair of RTA, and my chairmanship will end next month. We will go through the selection process and select a new second vice chair, which then will eventually have that person take on chair after 2 years. So it's been an incredible experience, and I'm so grateful to have had that experience with RTA. It's been great from going to DC to securing our contract negotiations with union bus operators early. First time it's been done as early as it has because of our leader there. Just a really, really cool experience. And I shame on myself for not inviting you all, but every year they do this thing called a rodeo, and council folks get to drive a bus, and I got the award for trying to drive as fast as humanly possible and hitting every cone on the track. And it was a ton of fun, but several council members from other cities came. I know that I think 3 or 4 council members from Wildemar came, and it was just a lot of fun to see everyone. So I'm going to encourage this group to attend next year. I'll make sure you guys get the invite because it's a lot of fun. RCTC, a lot going on. You talked a lot about some of the negative things that are happening in government. RCTC, in my opinion, is one of the best ran organizations, especially for Riverside County, because they continue to do good things like build our roads. And we have a lot of improvements. We were just awarded a $40.5 million award for new Mead Valley Metrolink Station Mobility Hub, which we were excited to report on that. Also at RCTC, this next month, we will be selecting our new second vice chair as well. So this is that time and place where we have switch up going around. We have new council members coming in, and that leads me to say congratulations to our mayor and our mayor pro tem and our council member elect, Josh Stieber. We have reports coming in tonight and probably for the next week on different folks that will be serving our region on local offices, whether it's school board, water board, city council. And for the regional boards, this is also where we change leadership and assign new committees, new chairmanship. So we're seeing that same effects happen at RCTC. So good things happening in our county, and I'm very grateful to be able to serve on those two boards. Other than that, I was with you guys for most of the events that we attended. I will say that the state of the county, absolutely phenomenal. Supervisor Washington, good friend of mine, did a great job as chair and partnered well with incoming chair Manny Perez. And I just got to say, it is an amazing county that we live in, and it was so cool to be able to be there with you all and just see some of the great things that are happening throughout our county. So with that, I yield my time. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, Councilmember Castillo.
Thank you. I too wanted to say thank you to city staff and the community for coming out to Pumpkin Bash. We weren't really sure how that was going to work and be received, and it sounds like the community really enjoyed themselves. We did it on a Thursday night in order to bring business to the community during the week, because we had some questions why we weren't doing it on the weekend. We didn't want to interfere with previously planned club events, and so the whole goal of that was we had heard from our businesses that they wanted traffic to the town center, and that was the way we thought that we could bring it there. So we're grateful for all of our vendors that came out, to the sports stop for doing the beer garden, and again to the city staff for the hard work on that. We had a lot of fun, and we're hoping to make that an annual event. We just had our Veterans Day. Again, city staff, you knocked it out of the park with that. So many people came up to me and just said this is such a important event in Canyon Lake, and to quote our Mayor Pro Tem Mark Terry, this is an event that you will always see in Canyon Lake. We will never not celebrate our veterans and do a great job to make sure that they're celebrated and recognized. So thank you again to city staff for coordinating that. I know it is a massive undertaking, and thank you to the POA for the use of Holiday Harbor. We do have Winter Wonderland coming. That's our next event. That's another opportunity to drive business to our town center. People ask us all the time, well, why aren't we doing it within the gates? And it's again to bring business from the outside into Canyon Lake so that they patronize our businesses and then give us the opportunity to celebrate. So please come to Winter Wonderland. Besides the turkey drive, Yard Fresh, one of our businesses in Canyon Lake, is, you want to chime in? You might know a little bit more about
I
that.
apologize. I got all stuck on turkeys.
Okay.
Yard Fresh is having a blanket drive. Same day, same location. And this will, these blankets will make their way to Animal Friends of the Valley. As you know, it's the nights are getting colder, and there is a need for blankets. And so far, she's collected about 100 blankets. And I encourage you to wrap your turkey in a blanket and bring it to the turkey drive. And yeah, Yard Fresh, Monica Lyons, what a great partner she's been with the city and our region. And I encourage you to help her out and help Animal Friends of the Valley and bring a blanket.
Thank you. If you cannot make it to the turkey drive to drop off a blanket, my law firm is also a drop-off location in the town center. I'm in the building directly behind the Veteran Memorial, so come by and we'll take your blanket as well. Make sure Monica gets it to give to Animal Friends of the Valley. And then I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you to Trustee Vanderpool. She has been an amazing advocate for our Lake Elsinore School District children. My children are some of those kids, and I've truly appreciated her collaboration and her service. So thank you to her.
That's it? Okay. Thank you. So we'll go over some things. It was a busy month for a lot of us, and I'm going to reflect back to last Friday when I took the RTA bus ride challenge. I don't think I've ridden a bus in quite a while, and I got on at Lake Elsinore, basically Walmart, and I drove to the metro station in Paris, and I was looking for my bench seat in the smelly bus, and I got on to a very comfortable seat that was kind of set aside to be mine. Pardon?
With Wi-Fi.
With Wi-Fi. I had a great ride. I saw that the number of residents that were able to get on the bus and get to the station was really amazing to me. It was a great ride. The bus driver was incredibly pleasant, and so my old picture of the beer bus when I was 12 years old changed radically. So it is really a great place. If you ever do need a ride to the transit station, you go out to Meadowbrook right out there on the corner, and it is I felt safe as I could be. It was quick. It was and a number of residents got on. I was really impressed. So going on to another transportation item, and it's something we attended this month, and that is the opening of the Holland Bridge. I don't know if you all know where the Holland Bridge is. I think there's a couple of them, maybe one in New York. But the one we were talking about is the one in Menifee that you can go take you can take over. It's not La Piedra, it's the next one over. But you have access from MSJC now to go right over the bridge. What is it?
Isn't it Holland?
Holland, just unbelievable, Holland Bridge. I'm always on La Piedra, so my brain is like on that world. But yeah, if you're I don't know how many of you have been frustrated by trying to get down Newport and onto the freeway and over into Menifee. The Holland Bridge is a great way to get over, and I'm hoping it impacts the Newport going that way. So that was one thing that we attended. Just to let all you know that if you want that shortcut to get around that mess, pop over to Holland, somewhere down by Lowe's, and you can pop over. I attended the Northwest Vector Control Strategic Planning meeting. It was about our first one, so we're going to start looking at 5-year plans and just getting a feeling, maybe taking on a little some. We have an area, territory with holes in it where we don't have the territory, and so when we have mosquitoes that are growing 2 miles from the house, and it's in the middle of an area, we're thinking that maybe we should be able to get access into that, we call it donut hole, and get over there. So we'll be looking at that. I attended SCAG. We had a long discussion about water tables. Really didn't apply to us because one of their concerns was saltwater intrusion coming up into their water tables. That's not us. We are fortunate. The water table here is that we don't have to go to SCAG to learn about our water tables. We can go to EVMWD or we can go to Eastern. I'm sure if we wanted Darcy to come up and talk about water tables, we would be well informed. Mark and I also attended Michelle's. They made me walk over a mile. It's been a while for that too. So Josh, you put that whip away. We don't need it anymore. I made it. So he did drive by in the golf cart and wave at me and asked me if I wanted to ride. And I took a deep breath and kept on walking. So, so there we go. We'll talk about electric vehicles real quick. Canyon Lake probably has more electric vehicles per person than literally any city around, because we have this tremendous golf cart fleet out there that is electric, and so obviously that's a great plus for us. We would like to make it as convenient as possible for electric cars to get around, and we are working on it. It's going to be a journey. So anyway, that's about all for me tonight. So any final comments from anyone? Okay. Move on to the consent agenda. Would any council member like to pull a consent agenda item?
I would.
Okay, which item is that?
I'd like to pull item 6.
Pull item 6, okay. Any other items that need to be pulled? Okay, then I would like to call for a vote on items 1 through 5 on the consent agenda.
Mayor, before you call for a motion or vote on items 1 through 5, I'm required under the Brown Act to give an oral report on item number 5 regarding the compensation of the city manager that is being set by that contract amendment. I wanted to note that the term of employment establishes a fixed initial term commencing on November 14th, 2024. I think that's actually supposed to be October 2024, so we'll get that, make sure that's correct. To June 30th, 2028, with the option for further renewal by mutual consent. The compensation has a base salary set at an initial rate of $265,000 per year, with annual adjustments based on the consumer price index for the Riverside area of 4%, or 4%, whichever is less. Severance terms in the event of termination without cause. The city manager will be entitled to 6 months of base salary as a severance payment. And the city manager will receive health, dental, and vision coverage, life insurance, and a monthly vehicle and internet allowance. Thank you, Mayor. You can now take a motion and vote on the consent agenda.
Okay, do I have another motion? Do I have a second?
Second. You have a motion?
Do we have a motion?
I'll move.
And I'll be the second on that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, City Clerk, can we have a roll call vote?
So just to clarify, this is for consent items 1 through 5.
Right.
That's correct.
Councilmember Castillo?
Aye.
Councilmember Dane?
Aye.
Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Terry?
Aye.
Mayor Welty?
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Okay, let's address item 6. Adopt resolution amending city wage and wage schedule to include new position of a part-time battalion chief. Jen, do you have any questions?
Yes.
Councilmember
Do you
Dane?
want me to ask my questions first?
Anyone gonna do a presentation on this?
We did not have a presentation scheduled, but
All
we
right.
certainly could.
Then we'll let Councilmember Dane go ahead and ask your questions. I
can
see
just
we have
ask my
experts standing at the podium.
Just some general questions about this. I do understand the need to have succession planning and to have this position. My questions, though, that I didn't see addressed in here, are we looking at having, although it's a part-time position, are we looking at having someone in this position all the time, or is this more a fill-in like we just had when Chief Samuels
I view
left?
this more as a fill-in to fill the gap during certain times. The person may be on employment, but could only be used intermittently. So right now, Chief Samuels retired. We brought in Chief Roberts, but there was a 3-month gap in there. There was nobody to facilitate everything that Chief Samuels was doing to the new Chief Roberts. And so Chief Samuels has graciously said I can stay on and assist with that. The other thing to remember is 365 days a year between Chief Roberts and I, one of us is on call or on duty every single day. And so there are times where we're both having a conflict. It could be a personal emergency. And so this is a backup plan for us. And it's not just for one individual. It is designed so that when Chief Samuels isn't available to do this in the future, we could bring someone else in to help assist us with the staffing should there be a personal emergency to ensure the continuity of our fire department operations.
So it's looking like a position that somebody who's currently in the department could step into this role for a bit of time, and then, okay.
That's probably how it would work out. It would be very difficult to bring in someone from the outside into our system who doesn't know our system. And so it really is looking at someone like that.
Okay. That was what I wanted to know.
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
I think this was easy one for me, Chief. Well done on this. I think, your experience with dealing with the couple injuries that we had, a couple of our guys got hurt, a couple sick, all happened at once, and, obviously dealing with the gap here, I think this was a smart move. So, I mean, this is what it's about with the new department, right? Going through these learning pains and finding out what we need and how to adapt, and I think this was well done.
It's good to have redundancy planning.
Yep, 100%. So this item's a no-brainer for me. Appreciate it.
Mayor, if I may, if you know Chief Latendresse, he always has a backup plan to the backup plan. And that's what this is. And I commend him for thinking about how this operation is going to stay 24/7, how he has a way to plan for the unplannable. And again, I commend him for that. Thank you.
If Councilmember Dane doesn't have any more questions on the item, I'll move.
Second.
Okay, can we call for roll call vote?
Councilmember Castillo?
Aye.
Councilmember Dane?
Aye.
Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Terry?
Aye.
Mayor Welty?
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Okay, moving on to the public hearing. We're going to go ahead and we're going to open this public hearing. It is now 7:35. Go ahead. We're going to call on the staff to come up and give us a discussion on the emergency ordinance. Mike Borja, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council. Staff is bringing forward Council's approval to adopt urgency ordinance number 249, a urgency ordinance of the City Council of the City of Canyon Lake amending Title 12 Vehicles and Traffic of the Canyon Lake Municipal Code to add Chapter 12.60 regulating to extra legal loads, permits and fees. Also to adopt resolution number 2024-47 establishing new fees for extra legal loads, transportation permits, and to also introduce and the first reading of ordinance number 250, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Canyon Lake amending Title 12 Vehicles and Traffic of the Canyon Lake Municipal Code to add Chapter 12.60 relating to extra legal load permits and fees. Oh my gosh, what a mouthful. Jesus. I murdered that really, really bad. So tonight, the city staff is looking to address a critical issue impacting both the safety and infrastructures of Canyon Lake. Oversized and overweight vehicle, also known as extra legal loads. As many of you know, large vehicles can cause significant wear on our roads, and the road in particular that we're talking about is Railroad Canyon Road. That poses safety risks for our community. To better manage these challenges, we're proposing to City Council the adoption of Emergency Ordinance number 249. This ordinance will amend our municipal code to regulate the movement of extra legal loads within city limits, ensuring safer transit while protecting Railroad Canyon Road from the unnecessary damages that it could sustain. Additionally, we are presenting resolution number 2024-47, which will establish new transportation permit fees. The fees that we're looking to set would be $16 for a single trip permit and $90 for an annual permit, while these are in line with the fees set by the California Department of Transportation. Lastly, we're also introducing ordinance number 250, which will further codify the regulations of the extra legal load permits and fees into the Canyon Lake Municipal Code. These measures will help to safeguard our infrastructure, reduce maintenance costs, and maintain public safety. So staff's recommendations are, number 1, open the public hearing and take testimony. Number 2, adopt urgency ordinance number 249, an urgency ordinance amending Title 12 Vehicles and Traffic of the Canyon Lake Municipal Code to add Chapter 12.60 related to extra legal load permits and fees. Number 3, adopt resolution number 224-47, establishing new fees for the extra legal load transportation permits. And then finally, introduce and read by title ordinance number 250, an ordinance amending Title 12 Vehicles and Traffic of the Canyon Lake Municipal Code to add Chapter 12.60 related to extra legal load permits and fees. That concludes my reports. I'm open for questions.
I have one question. Who is going to enforce this?
I'm going to have my car parked out? No. That's actually a very good question. And it's challenging because in most cities, you have more than one roadway. And so you have staff, whether it's public works, whether it's water, whether it's enforcement, that is out in the community all the time, that can at times see some of these heavy loads traveling through the community. The challenge is that we have one roadway and we have limited staff. The immediate thought is enforcement. However, it doesn't mean that city staff can also partake in some of that, as small as we are. It would be helped that maybe in some instances, if RSO is ever involved in any traffic type citations that occur on Railroad Canyon Road, they can maybe do some of that. But I see that as a challenge for all of us and how we can maybe do that.
My other question is, I understand that it's an urgency ordinance. Was this like mandated by the state of California or the county, or who brought this forward?
It wasn't. We as staff brought this forward. This is something I think for a while now it was on the bucket list to do for Railroad Canyon Road. So I think it's something that when Aaron County came on board, we pushed a little bit more further to get it going, They're moving it forward to now that we're here. So.
Yeah, and I can add on to that. For me, it was one of the things that, as I kind of analyzed what we have that other cities don't and what other cities have that we do not. This is a safety issue without a doubt. Our roadways are being used by individuals that know who has these ordinances and who does not, and will make sure that the route goes around those individuals. And where it became such a huge issue for me is watching some construction going on in Menifee, and I counted 200 trip loads in a 3-day period. And again, that's a safety issue that we need to resolve as quick as possible and get an ordinance on the books and be able to enforce that right away. What we've got to do also is work with the city attorney to see if there are technology ways to do that, to be able to utilize cameras and solely for that purpose, and what we can do to make sure that the city is recouping what it needs to.
So then does the funds that come from citations on this will be considered when we have to repair the roads?
So the citation, if we do have any fines, that is going to go into the general fund. Of course, we are able to track those fines and give reports to the Planning Committee and to the council as a whole on what is the total amount of fines that are coming in. I wouldn't anticipate, absent some, I think that the city manager's idea of looking at technology enforcement, absent that, I mean, you're not talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars or anything like that.
But the purpose of this also is a deterrent effect, right? We want people to know, don't come here and smash up our roads and have
There's no free
dangerous
rides,
loads.
there's no,
right?
absolutely.
Please don't drive your extra legal loads.
Extra legal, I appreciate the phrase extra legal.
Extra legal.
I think it is, if you are going to transport extra legal loads through the city of Canyon Lake, you do so safely and in a way that does not damage the infrastructure that the taxpayers have paid millions of dollars to establish.
Because really what we're concerned is that the people from Lake Elsinore cut through Canyon Lake to get to Menifee, and the people in Menifee cut through Canyon Lake getting to Lake Elsinore, right?
That's less a concern and more a confirmation. We watch it happen.
We see it every day.
Yes, and I mean, it is obviously a main transportation route. I think we're looking primarily at the extra legal loads issue. I can also tell you that this is a county-wide issue, especially as we continue to develop, not just the construction. I mean, I think Menifee just had a big news article about being a boom town and the increased development. But as we're also looking at more logistics and warehouse development through Western Riverside County, you are seeing trucks coming from the port of Los Angeles and Long Beach, coming down the 15 and crossing over to the logistics centers in Riverside County through Railroad Canyon and through some of these other east-west pathways, rather than going up the 91 into Riverside.
Right.
And so, it's a critical issue that needs to be addressed. And we're not the first city that is addressing this issue this way. In fact, almost every other city in the county of Riverside has an almost identical ordinance on the books.
Correct
to
me
protect their
if
infrastructure.
I'm wrong, 249's been around a while, right? Or is this?
No, this is 10 years, somewhere in that
that's what I'm
neighborhood. Like I said, some of this is from me coming in, kind of fresh eyes, this is low-hanging fruit that we're missing out on, and I wanted to get it moving as quick as possible. Because of the complexity, it wasn't push a button quick, unfortunately.
To Councilwoman Casey Castillo's point, the enforcement element is the one that, bangs our head up against the wall, right? Especially when you look at Canyon Lake, we have one deputy that's not a moto, so they're not out there patrolling, doing traffic. We, like you said, Mr. Warhods, our staff is limited and we don't have the resources, to force, so we're really gonna have to partner up with our flock program and, look at that as a way for enforcement, or else this thing's just gonna kind of, be unenforceable.
There are also, as the city manager mentioned, there are also other technological enforcement tools available to the city. I had the privilege of talking to a vendor called City Detect at the League conference that some of us went to a few weeks ago, and they have AI-powered code enforcement camera technology available that on a much more cost-effective basis than even a flock camera. Because you're not using it for criminal enforcement, it doesn't need the same cost and overhead, and they can be trained to identify code enforcement issues, including, I think, oversized vehicles traveling on the roads.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I have a question too. So if we have one of these cameras that would catch it, then we call the company and say, you owe us $16 or $90? How, or do the companies pay voluntarily pay this?
That would be a violation of our ordinance.
Yeah.
It would be, you owe us $16 and you also owe us $100 for violating our ordinance if it's the first violation, $200 the second violation, $500 for the third and subsequent. And it can also be prosecuted as a misdemeanor.
Okay, so I'm looking at the trip fees. So
right, so that's the fee, but it's unlawful to transit the city without having obtained the permit. So that would be an unpermitted transit.
So do companies normally that do this transportation know what cities they need to have the permits in, and they pay for those permits?
Absolutely, they do.
Okay.
Yes. And they know which ones don't have it. And
So
if
they
you,
come up for
absolutely.
Okay.
I thought we even had a business in the town center that was, doing the oversized load, and the transit permitting was one of the things that they did, but I could be wrong.
Councilman Terry.
They pull this permit directly through the city of Canyon Lake?
They pull it through the city of Canyon Lake, but we have a third party that administers it. I believe that's an Interwest.
It'll be Interwest
Yes,
Engineering
Interwest.
that will be reviewing the applications as they come in. There could be a possibility too that maybe it could be as simple as staff that can do a quick review, but it just depends on case-by-case basis of the application.
So is there a feeling that we have an industry standard that once the industry is aware of our policy, that they'll comply as a general rule fairly quickly? That's a sense?
Absolutely, and about 10 years ago, somebody wrote this first staff report, and then all of us have plagiarized that one for 10 years. So this is not, we didn't invent anything here. It was just something, when I came in, like, hey, where's this at? Because I watched them go back and forth, and then it became even more urgent when the 200 truckloads on our road in a 3-day period is crazy.
Yeah.
And it's not safe. I mean, there's no way to say that kind of way to save. So the other thing is it's wearing down the roads. And I believe it was Councilmember Castillo or Councilmember Dane that said, can we use it to repair our roads? Absolutely, we can use it for that. And it would be for that.
So in the long run, we're not going to beat our heads trying to enforce this. It sounds like it'll get built into the system and it'll run fairly effectively, other than a few stray trucks running down the road.
Correct, and that's a big part of it is the kind of trust system that they're going to go out, do their thing, register, do the right thing as a business, and many are going to do that without a doubt.
That's. I did spend a whole lot of resources trying to fix something that's unfixable, but it sounds like this will come into line rather easily. Okay, any further comments? Any questions for the staff? Okay, do we have any testimony by proponents? I don't see any out there. Do we have any testimony by opponents? I don't see any. Do we have any response for proponents? Probably not, since we didn't have testimony by opponents. The public hearing is now closed at 7:50. Is there any additional discussion by the city council? Seeing none, do I have a motion and a second to adopt urgency ordinance 249, adopt resolution number 2024-47, establishing fees for extra load transportation permits, and introduce and conduct first reading of the ordinance number 250. Do I have motions?
Yes.
Will that work? Just a simple motion, Madam Clerk? We don't need to repeat on it, all right?
I'll defer to the city attorney, but I believe Mr. Warhol covered it twice.
Arthur, are you good with the motion on this?
I'll fully do.
Thank you. And the mayor did such a good job. I don't want to with that.
Do you need a second?
Yes.
I will do that.
I'm sorry, our first was?
Yeah. Yep, good to go.
We'll do a roll call vote.
and second,
Councilmember
roll call.
Castillo? Aye. Councilmember Dane? Aye. Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Terry?
Aye.
Mayor Welty?
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Okay, we're going to move on to business items, and we're going to have presentation of City Inaugural's Pumpkin Bash event. Senior Administrator Assistant.
Hello everyone. Hello Mayor Pro Tem and City Council. My name is Madeline Gonzalez and I'm the Senior Administrative Assistant for the City Manager's Office. And today I'm here to talk about our inaugural Pumpkin Bash. We'll do a quick overview of the event, including funding, some event highlights, and we'll end with an event video. So to start off, funding for this event, the city was grateful to have received funds from Southern California Edison as a result from an underpayment of our user utility tax, also known as our UUT, along with approved budget for our current fiscal year city events. Some of our event highlights, we had over 700 attendees, 77 vendors, of which 27 were food vendors, 50 product vendors. We had carnival rides throughout the night. For the first part of the night, K-Frog hosted some music and line dancing, and we ended the night with a live music performance by a country band called Westward Sons. We did have some local participation I wanted to highlight. Sports Stop provided and hosted the beer garden that we had at the event and noted that they sold 620 wristbands at their beer garden. Sugar Dolls participates always and decorated their storefront to be on theme, and we made sure to just be mindful of a walkway for attendees to easily access their building throughout the event. We also had the Canyon Lake Fire Department, Canyon Lake Fire Association, and the Riverside Sheriff's Office. Something I did want to highlight in talking to a lot of the participants, many of the attendees for this event were not from Canyon Lake and were not even aware Canyon Lake Town Center existed. So it was nice to be put on the map for some new faces that night. Because we felt this event was so special, it being the first of its kind here in Canyon Lake, we want to make sure that we captured everything that the night had to offer. So myself and John Hess from Creative Industries Media Group put this video together to show you just that. So lastly, I did also want to mention that due to the overwhelming and unexpected attendance for this event, we quickly realized that our town center parking lot could not accommodate everyone that came out. So moving forward, we are looking into a shuttle service that would cater to our Canyon Lake residents. It would pick them up from Eastport parking lot inside the gates and take them to the event space in the town center and to and from throughout the night. We will be trying this out at our upcoming Winter Wonderland event, as you mentioned, on December 5th from 4 to 8 p.m., which should help alleviate this concern moving forward. That concludes my presentation. If you guys had any questions.
Good job. Nicely done.
Great job.
700 plus people is an amazing turnout for a first event. And as someone who has been begging along with Jen to have some kind of night market like so many of our, regional neighbors do, it was so cool to see it come to fruition. It was so fun to see a lot of little kids there. It was an awesome event. I was totally surprised by a lot of the things I saw. And I thought Made Local did a great job in picking vendors that were interesting, and all the feedback was great. Like, not just great, but wow, that was so fun on a Thursday night. Thank you for putting it on. And, we had heard some feedback about the day, but it's great to hear that the whole intent in bringing business to the town center, Mayor Pro Tem Mark Terry runs around trying to drum up business all the time. So this was very on brand with the goals of council in supporting our community and the business owners here. And it felt really wholesome. I loved every minute of it, and I'm just so grateful for you and the rest of the staff who, stepped up, because we do have that, then Veterans Day, then Winter Wonderland, and they're all in quick succession, so it's not like you had a ton of time to do this. Also, I think we kind of decided this in July or August for October, and it was like,
I can confirm that. That is exactly what happened.
hey, how about a fall festival? And it was so cool, and the band was awesome. So I loved them.
Good job, everyone.
I really loved them. I loved everything about it.
Absolutely. Good job.
So I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. That means a lot.
And I had so many people come up to me afterwards and say what a great event it was. And, the staff does so much for these events, and I don't think any of us really have any idea, but I never once worried that something was gonna get done. So appreciate all your hard work, all your hard work.
Any other comments?
Oh, awesome.
Maddie, you and the staff did an incredible job.
Thank you.
That was a huge undertaking. It was flawless. It was like you were at a county fair. It had that type of vibe to it. Everyone who was in attendance was in good spirits and in a good mood, and it really was an incredible event. And I hope that our town center business community can embrace it and find ways to utilize that audience, because you're right. You can go to some of these events and you recognize who the Canyon Lakers are. This was 2/3 people from around the region, whether it be Menifee, whether it be Lake Elsinore, or outside of that area. And again, I believe you made the comment that there were people there who didn't even know that we existed. So kudos to the committee on a great idea. Happened to work out, and I love
Swan
it.
song for
And
Jen.
Maddie and the staff, great job. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I just want to say, even though I'm up here talking about it, I do have an amazing leadership team with amazing support, and I couldn't be more grateful to be where I am right now. So thank you, guys.
And my comment is make sure we make a special effort to reach out to the influencers, the page runners, the POA, the city website, and make sure we get the bus transportation out there to the public so that they know they can go to Holiday Harbor and get here, and everybody will have a much better time and a relaxed time if they have easy transportation to get up. So that's my comment. But thank you very much. Appreciate it.
That's a great idea.
Okay, do we have any public comment cards on the presentation?
Mayor, we do not.
Okay. Okay, we'll receive and file this and move on. We'll now move on to city manager comments.
Mayor, today I was able to go to my first traffic court appointment for the golf cart. I went with a family where we found out that this was the first of all of the meetings or appointments. So we go to basically say, hey, we're going to fight this through the process. Got some instruction from the clerk there, and I'd asked the question. Very happy that I had a little time that I spent at Riverside Superior Court. So I remember trial by declarations, and I said, "Do you not do trial by declaration anymore?" And they just happened. Oh yeah, we still do that. And so that's the process that we're going to go through with this individual group, and then we're going to take that declaration, and my partner to my left here is going to help me formulate everything, and we're going to post that as a template for anybody that wants to utilize that and make it an easier process. And I'm very hopeful that we will be victorious through that process. The next item, we will, as you said, the shuttle, we're going to be trying that out for Winter Wonderland. Very important to the free up spots so that we'll have individuals that are not from the area to be able to come in. We're very thankful that Councilmember Smith will not be driving that bus, so all of the cones are safe. We have scheduled ready to go. And then what Mayor Pro Tem said about the turkeys struck me, so I brokered a deal with the city attorney. We are committing to going halfsies on 10 turkeys.
Nice.
And we would like to use that opportunity to challenge everyone else to do the same. Step up, buy some turkeys. We will make sure that we deliver quickly.
So you're looking for someone to match?
Well, I will say, I know the POA board member left, but I would personally like to throw out to my peer at the POA, Eric, come alongside, let's get some turkeys together, and then also call out the POA board and my bosses and say, let's get some turkeys in there together.
And blankets.
Okay.
And blankets, thank you.
And blankets. Aaron, you're all good then?
That is it for me, Mayor. Thank you so much.
Okay. We're going to announce that the next regular city council meeting will be held on December 11th, 2024.
Where at?
I believe it'll be probably about 15 feet from here, if I'm guessing. So we should
Absolutely.
be on the main floor by then. I was up there today, and we missed having this meeting there by that much. So we'll certainly be ready to come. So if you have any questions, come to City Hall, and we will direct you to the location.
Nice.
So we will see you on December 11th, and we'll adjourn. Thank you all.